So, who can tell me what you know about similar triangles, similar figures? What do we say about when they are similar? What do we say about when they are similar? Those are different. What's the different part about it? Go ahead. Okay, I couldn't quite hear you. They have the same shape. What's the ending to it? Can be different size. Very good. That's the different part of congruent and similar. So what I want you to write here is they have the same shape. And you're right, Haley, a lot of times that is what I stop at, since it could be different size, could be the same size. They have to have the same shape, though. And they can be different size. Same shape, can be different size. Okay? Now, the definition that they use today actually means the exact same thing. All right? So it says two triangles with congruent angles, which is what we've been learning. Congruent angles mean they have the same shape. If they have two similar angles, or two congruent, angles, the third angle has to be congruent, which means they are the exact same shape. So two shapes with congruent angles, that's the same as saying they're the same shape. And proportional side lengths. If they have proportional side lengths, that means they either could be the same size or different size, depending on what the ratio is they're using for their proportion. Okay, depending on what the scale factor is for the dilation. All right. Slope. We have not talked about slope in a long time, but we've talked about slope. Slope is the steepness of a line, or we talk about it as the ratio of vertical change to horizontal change. It's the steepness of a line, and we look at it as the vertical change to the horizontal change. Can you show me which way vertical goes? Yeah, straight up and down. Guys, that is our rise when we talk straight up and down. So which way is horizontal? Exactly, that's our left and right. That is our run. I want you to box, star, do something. So that's the way we're going to be looking at it today. You remember that that is important. Rise over run. Do you remember the other way we talked about it? Vertical change to horizontal change. We said that as not just y over x, but there you go. Very good. Change in y over change in x. And that's what we were just talking about. The rise is on our y-axis. That's up and down. The run is on our x-axis. That's left and right. Very good. Hypotenuse. This one has been more frequent that we've talked about this. What is the hypotenuse, guys? Okay. The longest side of a right triangle. It's only with right triangles. Only with right triangles. And this is going to be directly across from the right angle. Bless you. Okay. So I'm going to draw a small right triangle here. Let's do right triangle here. That's my right angle, so it's a right triangle. My hypotenuse is this side. Okay? That is my hypotenuse. So the very first part says, find the slope between the set of points below by outlining the rise over run between them on the coordinate plane. List both the original slope and the simplified slope if applicable. Okay? So when we start off with our rise and our run, I'm going to use a highlighter. Okay? And I think it's just easier to see a highlighter on here. But you can always do it with a pen or pencil too. So slope between A and B. If you're confused at what this is asking you to do, watch up here. So I have my rise from A to B. And And then I have my run from A to B. We're just outlining our rise over run. What was my rise, Sullivan? 1. What was my run, Caden? So our slope is 1 over 2, rise over run. Now, I am going to alternate between colors just because I think it's easier to see where the triangles start and stop then. You can do whatever you would like. B and D here. So again, show your rise and your run between B and D. What was my rise on this one, Sophie? 2. Justin, my run was 4. And guys, what is 2 over 4 simplified? If you do not know, don't forget, you can type in 2 fraction button 4 and the calculator will simplify it for you. What is it, anyone? 1/2. Very good. Okay. Okay, the slope between D and G. So outline the rise and the run between D and G. What is my rise on this one, Lamaya? 3. And Carter, my run?
3.
So my rise was 3. My run is 6. Okay. When I simplify that is anyone? 1/2. Great. Now I need between G and K. So show your rise and your run outlines. Your rise and your run outline for G to K. G to K has what as my rise, Anaya? From here to here you said is what? 4. Very good. And my run is, Lily? 8. Very good. And 8 over 4, guys, simplifies to 1/2. Great. Now, because this one kind of goes A and K, we've done A, we've done K, so it kind of goes overlapping. I'm going to change colors just so that we can tell the difference here. So if I go from A to K, I'm trying not to overlap so you can still see the other one. So if you're wondering, mine goes up a little higher. It's just because I want to see it with that orange there too. Okay. My rise from A to K is, Haley, 10. Where my run is, Mia, 20. And Reese, when I go to simplify 10 over 20, I would get 1/2. Very good. So if we look at this picture, this kind of gives us the idea of everything we need to know about the lesson today. So what things do you notice about this entire example, picture included? What things do you notice? Very good. I'm so glad you mentioned that. All of these are right triangles. Right triangle, right triangle, right triangle, right triangle. Of one big right triangle. What else, Eva?
No matter where you put one,
Very, very good. That is the entire first conclusion, pretty much, on this one. So if you look at conclusion 1, it says the slope between any 2 points on the same line. So the slope between any 2 points on the same line is the same. Very good. Is the same. So I say that, and people say they get it, and then I ask the next question, and they don't know how to answer it at first. Okay, this question should take you maybe 2 seconds to answer. Please look up at the board. If I want to know the slope from C to H, it is what? Ooh, you guys got it faster than any other class, 1/2. I've had a lot of classes that are like, okay, let me count, C to H. Well, this goes this many, and this goes this many, so simplified. No, you guys just told me, any 2 points I pick on this line, you're going to have the same rise over run. It's going to be the same slope. We already learned this year. We just talked about it in a little bit of a different way. We said if it is a straight line, there is a constant rate of change. I'll say it again since some of you seem a little distracted. If there is a straight line, we have a constant rate of change. What that means is if the rate of change, the rise over run, is constant, they're the same for any single points we pick on here. So no matter what I pick, if I go I to K, the slope will be 1/2. If I go E to H, the slope will be. If I go A to C, the slope will be. Very good. Every single time it's going to be the same slope because it is a straight line. Okay? Anything else that you are noticing for these right triangles?
There's like multiple of them.
Good. So we can make multiple ones depending on which 2 points we pick. Reese? So this one in particular doesn't go through the origin. That is just because of our begin, our y-intercept. It could have. So that one's not quite crucial, but you're not wrong.
The numerator is going up by 1 and the denominator is going up by 2 each time.
Okay, so the slope is 1/2 every single time. Yep. Okay, so what I'm looking for is what do you notice about all of these triangles? They are all going to be what? All of the right triangles are going to be, not quite. Similar. Guys, they are all similar to each other. If these are all having the same ratio of rise, which is one side, to run the other side, that means the sides that are corresponding are going to be proportional to each other. If they are proportional to each other, they are similar. So anytime you put a right triangle on this line, it is going to be similar to each other. So we're going to write for conclusion 2, similar right triangles can be created using the rise and run between any 2 points on the same line. So if I create a triangle between any 2 points, 1, they have the same slope, and 2, they will be similar. Okay? That is when we put the hypotenuse of the triangle on the line. Okay, so the right triangle can't be turned a different way so that like the right angle is going this way. Okay, it has to be with the grid lines, which means that the hypotenuse will be on the line. Okay? If there are no questions, flip the page over. Okay, on the back side, we're talking about corresponding parts to start with. So, GH right here, that's this line right here, GH, corresponds with what side of the other triangle? What side of the other triangle? Who can tell me? Ziva? EI, very good. Capital letters, put the line above it for line segments. So, EI. Great. GE. That's this right here, GE, correspond with what side of the other right triangle? Emma, do you know? EC, very good. Capital letters, the line above the top for the correct notation. EC, fantastic. So then the last one, HE, corresponds with, Bree? IC, very good. Okay, so we have all of our corresponding parts now. We need to answer these true-false questions now. And I hear a lot of clicking for highlighters, so I am going to give you a second. Because you got to be looking at the board so you can be paying attention to what I'm pointing to. It won't quite make sense. So if you're highlighting, try to finish up in the next 10 seconds. Okay, in this next part, please just watch right now. I promise I will give you time to write on your paper. Please just watch. So, the first one is GE. If you look at that part, what part of the triangle are we talking about? Are we talking about the rise, the run, or the hypotenuse? Hypotenuse, very good. In the last class, they were kind of struggling to remember between rise and run. Remember, rise goes this way, run goes that way. If you want to write that down, go ahead. Okay. The diagonal then is the hypotenuse. Okay, so looking back up here again, we said this one is the hypotenuse, and then it's over GH. GH is the run. Very good. So if we want hypotenuse over run, the other side has to be the same way with the corresponding parts. So the top. Is the top the hypotenuse? EC. Yes. Is the bottom the run? EI. Yes. So is this one true or false? True. And I had, again, keep watching for me. I had someone in the last class that really didn't get it, so using their highlighters here, too, made more sense to them. We said, okay, GE, that's this part. That was my orange. And over here, EC, that one was also my orange. Then GH, that was my yellow, so that's yellow. EI, that was my yellow. So if you look, that's how we know it was hypotenuse over run is equal to hypotenuse over run. Again, you don't have to use all that highlighting. It's just that made more sense once I showed with the color in the last class, okay? Any questions on that part? Okay, watch up here for number 5 then. Okay, IC, what part of the triangle is that? IC. The rise, very good. IE, what part of the triangle is that? Run. So we did rise over run. So the other one has to be rise over run as well. HE, is that my rise? Yes. GE, is that my run? No. So this one would be false. Great. I want to give you about a minute. See if you can answer 6 and 7 on your own. Got about 10 seconds. Okay, so when we look at this, even if you're not done, please watch up here. First one, EC, what part of the triangle? Hypotenuse. EI, what part? So we did hypotenuse over the run. So EH, is that my hypotenuse? No, it is not. That makes this one false. Okay. The next one, GE. GE, what part is that? Hypotenuse over HE, that is my rise. So they did hypotenuse over rise. Let's see the next one. EC, is that my hypotenuse? Yes. IC, is that my rise? Yes. So this one is true. Very good. Are there any questions on that one? Because your test next week, there will be problems where you have to write out the proportion. You just need to make sure whatever you do on this side, you do the same on the other side. And guys, the easiest one is always do rise over run. Rise over run. You guys know how to write the slope with rise over run, okay? So no questions? All right, the next one says, list the pair of similar triangles below. How will I know if these are similar? Okay, I love that you said they have the same shape. You are 100% correct. But we have learned multiple ways on how to decide if they're the same shape. Like last lesson we talked about that the angles are all going to be the same if they're the same shape. But in this lesson, we are talking about when they are on a grid, we know if they are similar if they have the same slope. I heard people say it. Very good. So I want you to write on here that they must have the same slope to be similar. They must have the same slope to be similar. Okay? So we're going to find the slope of each one, and we're going to do this one together. Okay, so let's look at F. If I look at F, guys, please always go left to right, because I know you guys tend to do better if you're working left to right. So read it across like you would a book. So if we're doing F, first of all, my rise would be what? It is not 3. It is -3. Why is it -3, guys? Going down. Very good. You got to pay attention to the directions you're moving. So then my run is +2 because I'm going to the right. Very good. So -3/2. Let's go to G next. My rise is 2 because it went up. My run is 6. It went to the right. Very good. Let's look at E. On E, my rise is, ooh, I'm glad you said negative. A lot of people forget already when we get to that one again. My run is 4. Very good. Which letter you want to go to next? A, I heard, okay. So on A, my rise is -7. My run is +7. Very good. Look at H, guys, and please look up here just for a moment. Okay? A lot of these, as we've been going, we've been outlining the shape. If you do that, guys, is this your rise? No. Okay? So I would do my rise like this. Even though that's not the way they have it drawn, I would do rise and then run, going left to right. So what is my rise on this one? What is it? -4. What is my run? 2. Very good. Okay. If you look at letter D, my rise, we're going to do the same thing. Make sure you do rise first, not the run. Rise is -6. Run is +4. Okay. Then we have B. Once again, go rise first. Don't accidentally do the run first. Rise is 4. Next one, you got to count quite a bit. My run is 12. Okay. And C. My rise is -6. My run is 3. Okay. You guys did not struggle as much with the positives and the negatives, but if you looked at these, you should have known from the get-go, if the line is going down on these, so down, this one's going down, this one's going down, this one's going down, all of those would have been negative slopes because they are all moving down. Okay, the only ones that were positive were G and B. So when I ask you which ones have the same slope, we automatically know which one's a pair. Yeah, they're the only ones that are positive. Plus, if you simplify 4/12 and 2/6, you would get 1/3 on both of them. So it is B and G. Who can give me another pair that are congruent to each other, which means they have the same slope, they are similar? Bria. A and E. Very good. A, -7/7, that's -1. E, -4/4, that's -1. Okay, who can give me another pair? Caden.
F and C.
Say it again.
F and C.
F I agree with, could be the next one. F is negative 3 over 2. C would not be negative 3 over 2 when you simplify. Which other one would go with that, Haley? Sophie, which other one goes with that? D, right here, guys. Negative 6 over 4. If you divide by 2 on the top and the bottom, that would be negative 3 over 2. So that would be D. That means the last set, Mia, has to be?
H and C.
Good. H is negative 4 over 2. That simplifies to negative 2. C is negative 6 divided by 3. That would be negative 2 as well. Okay? Are there any questions on that? You guys did fantastic with it. So, again, the biggest thing you have to remember is if they are on the same line, they are similar, and that means they have the same slope. Great job.